Good morning. This is Cheryl Cuthrill from the Anderson County GOP. This morning I have with me Mark Durham, who is running for State House seat District 10. And we are going to just have a little talk with him this morning to get you some information on him and let you know him a little bit better. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
What is your main reason for running for this position?
Well, the reason I am running, and during my whole life, I've always felt like I was a public servant. I look back, I talked to my brother sometime, and I said, when I went into law enforcement, I said, when do you remember me talking about law enforcement? He said, probably from the time you were 4. And so at about the age 12, I was working at a little local mom and pop's grocery store where I'd have dip minnows and catch crickets and pump gas, and I just liked helping people. I wanted to take groceries to the car. It was actually back in the days when we used to have customer service, which is kind of a thing of the past now. And so it's always been in my heart to want to serve, want to help, want to do. So that's where I chose the path for law enforcement. And a lot of people think, well, law enforcement's all about locking people up and arresting people, but it's not. There's ways you can do that job, but actually you can help people and you can make a difference in people's lives. And not saying that sometimes it took arresting people. Sometimes that's what it took to make for them to see a difference and a change. So but that wasn't my main goal. My main goal, those saying the law enforcement was to serve and protect, and that was kind of my thing. I wanted to help people where I could. I'd always tell folks when I would meet and speak, I'd tell them, if I can't do anything to help you, I won't never do anything to hurt you. If something happens that hurts you, it's your own doing. But because of me, it's not. And I know, not sure about the time, but I'm just going to tell you how I had a great career in law enforcement. Got to retire after a little over 25 years of service at Clemson University. And being at Clemson University, you were around folks of all different kind of walks of life. And it was that day you went into work and it wasn't same old. Every day you didn't know what you were going to deal with, who you were going to meet. And that was a great opportunity. And then I would, and if I say too much later, like you said, you edit this, but my goal at the time, I didn't know when I was going to retire. I got my time in, but the Lord was speaking to me and my wife about me retiring. And so at that time, I checked into retiring. My wife had been sick a little bit. She had started having some bad headaches, and it just grew. They never went away. So around June 2012, that was just pressed on my heart to retire. And then July, August, she continued to get worse. So in August, they finally did an MRI and found that she had a brain tumor. So that kind of changed her life and redirected our path. But I look back, if I'd have kept working, that was in August, October, she had to have surgery to remove a tumor that was about the size of a lemon. So I realized then the doctor had told us, it could be weeks, months, she could be out of work 26 weeks or so. I knew if I'd went to work and said, hey, I'm going to be out 6 months to take care of my wife, that probably wasn't going to go over too well. So then we looked back and said, hey, that's why I had to retire. That's why I left, is so I could take care of my wife. And the Lord just blessed and touched there. And probably 6-7 weeks, she was up and going. And so I tell everybody now the hardest thing I have to do in the morning is make her coffee, fix her breakfast, pack her lunch, and kiss her bye to go to work. Then I'm good for the day. So we started, like I said, I've always liked to help. I, do a lot of work at my church and do a lot for neighbors and friends. And just if I can help somebody, I'll help somebody. And then we started praying and thinking and talking about this seat. And one day, we are a preacher. We were talking about putting rewards and treasures up in heaven, whether you got the pat on the back here, or we going to put our treasures up for later. And I thought, what better way if I could get into this seat and I do right and I can help people and not for an attaboy for me, but I can make a difference or impact somebody's life. If it's just for a day or if it changes their life forever, what kind of rewards I could put up for a later day. And I realized, you're not going to please everybody all the time, 100%, but
Mhm.
you're not going to do that in a Baptist church either. So, my thought was I could get out, I could serve, I have the time. This is going to be my full-time job. In January through May, when we're in session in Columbia, when I come home, I'm still going to be in the office 3 days a week or so in Powdersfield. And I want it to be where people don't have to worry about calling me. They don't have to track me down. They know these days I'm going to be at the office. They can walk in and bring their concerns. And I've told folks as I've been out going door to door and meet people, um, I don't have all the answers. I said, really, I don't even know the questions, but I do know if you'll come to me with a concern, a question, or a complaint, if I don't know the answer, I'll say, give me 2 days, give me 48 hours, and I'll return a phone call to you, or I'll drive over to your house and tell you what I found out. And that's what uh,
Oops, we just muted. Hold on 1 second. Oh, you must be getting a phone call. Okay.
uh, is that going to mess us up, man?
No, I haven't take that out.
All
Don't-
right, sorry about that. So, so my thing is I was saying about the stump speech, and one of the things I have in here, what we got to get back to, and is that the politician, the elected official, serves the people, not the people serving them, and that's what I want to get back to. And then I tell everybody, it's just not meant for you to call me at midnight or 2 in the morning. I'll start at 7:30 in the morning. At 9 o'clock, after 9 o'clock at night, it's my wife's time. That's I'm gonna be there to the end. And it's been kind of funny, really, out of the since I started this campaign, 11:30, 12 o'clock, I'm getting emails with questions, and so I was like, 12 o'clock, go to bed. But at the time when we talked about the seat, and then my wife had spent time in prayer about it. And then one day we just got the answer. This was, and then when I got the answer, I think me and my wife, and I think the next person I called was Wes Cox. I have breakfast with him, and I just wanted to tell him, the Lord. I don't like to tell people, say, who you running against. Well, I'm not running against him. I'm running for this seat. And if he happened, of course, in October he has filed, he is running, but I don't consider it. That's what's wrong with politics in general, is it's getting dirty. And like far as the Republican Party, me and him supposed to represent the same thing. So I'm not going. I'm not going to fight him. I'm going to put my name out there, my information. I'm going to try to meet people that I can meet, and try to encourage them to vote for me. And I tell, I'm retired. I want to be able to. This is going to be my full-time job. I can be there for you. And now some people say, well, that's wrong, but I'm not in any kind of thing that has to do with dirty politics. They've changed it. It's gotten so bad over the years, and it's a shame that more people want to see that than they actually want to see what the man can do for us. And
We're
so,
seeing a lot of that around.
right.
So what are your, of the platform, because most of the Anderson County Republican Party, they want to be sure that our representatives are adhering to the platform. So can you tell us a couple of your most important things on the Republican platform?
Well, of course, to me, again, it goes back to the pro-life, the Second Amendment. Those are the two things, top things that most people are concerned about. But to me, also, we've got to look at our school, our education, our infrastructure, and there's a lot of things when people are not really what they want to know what affects them. And honestly, the pro-life does affect them, carrying the weapons. Those are things, but there's things that we got to look at and educate. I say a lot of times, like with the education part, our 5 kids are out of school. Why am I still paying school taxes? But I've got that for life. So we will be paying that. But one of the things that what if I could get there and get elected, I want to do things to help veterans. I want to see what's available for the veterans. We have a great homeless population that's steadily growing every day. And I'm not for continue to give handouts. We got to be able to show and educate people a different way of life. And then again, of course, I'm a public servant, so close to my heart's law enforcement, school teachers, and honestly too, not just the fact of doing more for our school teachers, but we got a lot of state employees. And I'll stand here. June 29th, I've been retired 8 years. And when Governor Haley left, she tapped state employees out. If you retired after June 2012, you could get 1% pay raise a year or $500, whichever's great. So I've been retired 8 years. Yeah, 8 years in the 29th. So I've got 1% raises a year. So I've got an 8% raise, but insurance has went up 19%.
Yeah.
So I'm making 11% less. So that ain't the way our government ought to be set up. You shouldn't go backwards. And that's the same way with our state employees, school teachers, and then the new folks that's coming into work. We got to do things to encourage them to want state jobs, want them to be school teachers, and that want to. And I'm going to chase a rabbit here about our school teachers. Uh, Back in the day, and of course this is not going to go over very well, but back in the day, when I got to school, the principal pretty much spanked me first thing in the morning. He's like, "Come on in here and get you 3 licks," because he knew I was going to do something during that day. But I respected the teachers, and I sit in that classroom. See, right now our school teachers, they don't have time to teach because they got to be mom and daddy. They got to be the guidance counselor. They got to be the spiritual leader. They got to they got all these other jobs that they got to do besides teaching their kids. And really a lot of that time starts at home. We got to have parents that's going to step up and start teaching kids. And then the fact that, I've got a lot of friends that school teachers. My daughter's a school teacher. And it just amazes me. Back in the old days, you sit there, the teacher came by, grabbed a hold of that ear, got your attention. But if you do that today, that's a lawsuit. So she's fired, locked up. But we've kind of gotten away. And I think if it was good enough back then, and back then, if I'm not mistaken, there's a lot of times we may have 30, 35 kids in the classroom. But a lot of it was respect. That was the teacher. That was Miss Jones, Miss Smith. You didn't think about being ugly to a teacher. But now there's no respect. And again, that's not a teacher's fault. Those are things that's being taught from home or
Right.
not being taught.
So what
But
are a couple of main points that, if you're elected, that will be your bullet points on what you want to get accomplished in your first term?
when you talk about that, a lot of folks have said, "Let me give you some advice," and this is from some ex House members. They said for the first 2 years, you go down there and sit and hush. You go down there, you listen, and you learn. Because if you go in and say, "Well, I'm going to change this," or "I'm going to change this," they said you're not going to get anything done. So, but if there were some things that I want to look at when we talk about infrastructure, education, and all that. But I'd like to look at some things about our churches to see what we can do to protect them more in case of an active shooter. Some churches are a little bit afraid of having the concealed weapon permit holders there. They're worried about liability. I would like to look to see, my thing is if a man walks into your church, your house of worship, he pulls out a gun, he's kind of lost his rights there. But a church shouldn't be responsible for a decision that he made or what he was going to do today. And I'm not sure, Cheryl, you may be a little younger than me. Would you ever thought today that somebody would rob a church, go into a church, walk into a school, and start shooting? And so if there was things that I could get some legislation passed, there's more things, more protection from the churches, for the churches, on insurance wise and things that would protect them, not hold them as liable. If 3 men or women have to step up in the church and shoot somebody who came in there to do harm. Also, I would like to look at, I spoke earlier about veterans. It's a shame in our day and time that we have a veteran that's homeless or is doing without it. And I could tell you of some incidents and things that I've been told over the last couple of weeks that just sort of would break your heart. But, we go back again talking about education and things that people at home. Uh, Memorial Day. I have people nowadays, or younger generation, they don't know what Memorial Day is or what it represents. They think it's a day to kick off the summer and go to the lake or either drink and party. They don't realize it. And just like last night, I hope you got a good night's rest. I know I did. We slept good in our bed last night. Chances are, somewhere though, a military man might have lost his life last night. So me and you could have the right to sleep in our bed and be safe. And then, and if we don't fight the war, and this is kind of getting a lot of it off the state, but if we don't fight the war over there, one day it's going to be in our back porch and we're going to be fighting it. And you've already seen things that if you lived in this area long, when we see things that used to happen off in other states, and then it got to Atlanta, North Carolina, and then it's creeping in to it's here in Greenville, Pickens, and Anderson. And so we got to do things, and I'm going to run a rabbit right here, because this may not be popular either. But the Dylan Ruth, as I talk about church shootings, the Dylan Ruth shooting down in Charleston, sad thing that people lost lives, and not a thing to do with race or racist. What we would have done is within 72 hours, 3 days, if he'd have had a quick trial, he'd have got the death penalty or he got sentenced. That's what's going to stop the next shooting. Us taking Dylan Ruth and raising him and feeding him to the next 50 years. But if South Carolina had sped up and the death penalty, and somebody said, hey, this boy went into Charleston's church, killed 8, 9, somebody killed 22 people in a school. They were dead within 72 hours. They had a trial. That would slow things down. People's got to start seeing there's a consequence for their action, and we don't do that anymore. So I know that ain't real popular. So you might say, hey, Marty, let's maybe cut this out. So, but anyway, that's the whole thing. Go back to accountability, and we talk about the politicians go down there, and it's a shame that politicians, because when I tell people I'm running, they say, why? You'll go down there and you're going to be corrupt, and you're going to be, and I said, I know some folks that's down there that I'd like to think's not corrupt, that it's not bad. But then everybody said, well, if you're not corrupt when you get there, you will be. And see, the politicians have just got a bad light now. Nobody has faith in them. And that's what I want to be able to try to get back. I want to try to be able to put back confidence and that people believe in what we believe in and what we stand for. Now, I will tell you this. I had an educational moment. Said this comment, kind of got called out on it, but when I was talking to a guy about voting, and he said, well, he said, I'm probably not going to vote. And I said, well, a not vote is voting Democratic if you don't vote. And then he called me, he said, well, wonder if I am a Democrat. If you get elected, are you not going to represent me? Well, then that made me realize, and so here's what I thought. I said, well, I said, I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm elected, I'm representing people in Pickens and Greenville and Anderson County, white, black, red, green, independent. But when it comes down to the values, I roll along the Republican line. And I'm still smart enough. I said, and as my Christian values, I said, I'm going to vote my conscience and what's right, along with our political lines for what Republicans stand for. He said, well, what about my values and what about my thoughts and my conviction? And I said, it sounds to me like you need to sign up as a Democrat and run against me.
So how can people get in touch with you if they want to support you? And we'll get this wrapped up. And if you want to tell them how they can get in touch with you if they need to.
Yes, ma'am. You can contact me on my cell phone at 864-637-8804. Again, that's 864-637-8804. Or you can go to my website, and there you can look at my website, but my email address is mdschouse10@yahoo.com. That's mdschouse10@yahoo.com.
I appreciate you taking the time this morning, and we'll get these out to the area as quick as we can. But I appreciate you taking your time and taking a chance on serving everybody up in this area.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm excited, and I consider it a privilege. And if I could end it with one thing, is we just need people to get out and vote. Everybody's worried about voting. They're worried about but one of the things I started a couple of weeks ago and put the voting booths at Walmart, Lowe's, and Sam's and Home Depot. Everybody's there. So I need you, need you to get out and vote.
Absolutely. So just remember, the primary is June the 9th, and we've got absentee ballots going on. And so just be sure you get your vote for whoever you are passionate about putting in place. Thanks a lot.